we decided to look at the number of fights in the NHL since 2000. Our research question was, is there evidence of an association between the number of hockey fights in the NHL regular season in years since 2000? We chose to use a linear regression slope t-test as we would be able to see how the number of fights in regular season NHL hockey changed over time. So we collected our data by using this graph from hockeyfights.com. We primarily looked at the three columns, season, games, and fights, to break down how many fights there were per season. We had hypotheses and conditions for our test. So for our null hypothesis, we said, there is no association between the number of NHL regular season hockey fights in years since 2000. But for our alternative hypothesis, we said, there is an association between the number of NHL regular season hockey fights in years since 2000. We also had three conditions. Our first condition was a census. Every fight from every regular season game was used for each year since 2000. We also found a linear relationship between the two variables, and the residual plot has no pattern. And thirdly, the histogram is nearly normal. To show you that, here is our residual plot and our histogram. As you can see on the left, with our residual plot, there is basically no pattern, and on the right with our histogram, it's nearly normal. Here are the results of our test from when we plugged it into our calculator. But here are the key numbers to know. Our t-value was negative 2.787, our degree of freedom was 15, our r-squared value was 0.3412, our a value was 723.745, our b value was negative 25.144, and our p-value was 0.01381. Here's the graph of our data with the line of best fit. And from that, we made our regression equation, which is y equals 723.745 minus 25.145x. In words, the number of NHL regular season hockey fights on average goes down by approximately 25 fights for each year since 2000. In the year 2000, there were 723.745, approximately, NHL regular season hockey fights. So, the interpretations of our data. For our r-squared value, which was 0.3412, this r-squared value indicates that the linear relationship between the two variables, year since 2000 and number of regular season NHL hockey fights, is not a very strong one. A stronger linear relationship would have an r-squared value of nearly 1. And our conclusion based off of our p-value. With our p-value of 0.01381, which is less than the alpha level of 0.05, we will reject our null hypothesis. We have strong evidence to show that there is an association between the year since 2000 and the number of regular season NHL hockey fights. From our prediction equation, we can see that annually there are approximately 25 less fights. How we could have improved our study. Number 1, a greater sample size. We could have looked at more years of hockey fight data. For example, we could have looked at the trend in the number of fights since an earlier starting year, like 1980. We could have also focused on only the years with the same number of regular season games. For example, most of our years had 1,230 games. However, one year, 2012 to 2013, there were only 720 games played. If we only looked at the years with the same number of regular season games played, our data may have been more reliable.